Hello, and welcome to Arsenal Above All, the first proper, season proper show. We had the preview last week with Mac, but I've got two fine, upstanding gooners with me tonight. I've got Nick making his debut. Great to see you, mate.
Thank you for the invite. Thank you for the invite. Yes,
absolutely. And I've also got Neil, and he also goes as the most dangerous Arsenal fan alive, the Arsenal Jason. How you doing, man? You okay?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. Love the intro as always. Completely love all lies, but I love the intro.
Well, Nick's gonna have one soon. I'll just give you time. I've got to formulate one in my head once I've talked to him. So
that's great. But thanks and welcome, Nick. Lovely to meet you, buddy.
Thank you, Neil.
Pleasure to have you on, and thank you, Michael, for inviting me as always.
No problem. No, great to have you guys, and also always great to talk about a win. No matter how we got it, we got a win at Old Trafford. And it's been just over 24 hours since, and the internet and the Man United internet is still tears everywhere. I can see, people saying it's they didn't deserve it and they won the game and everything. We still have got a 0 next to them in the Premier League table anyway. So, but we've got a lot to get into. Obviously, some good talking points, which will come across the lineup, the actual performance. Certain individuals, and obviously you look ahead to Leeds, who are playing tonight and are drawing 0-0 at the moment. But before all of that, of course, let's get into the intro. It's not the new one, Neil, not yet, but it's the old one. But anyway, let's get into it. Yes. Welcome, everyone. Thanks, everyone who sent in so many great comments last show. It was really good stuff. Nick, you was one of those, and obviously Neil, you were. So that's probably why I got you on there, because you had so many good little takes and insight that get you on air and talk about the win and everything else. And we've got start off with the chat. Yep, Brenny, how you doing, man? Evening, gents, and chat. Angie. Even good, or Mrs. Yorkerez, and it might be Mrs. Calafiori at the moment after what you did yesterday. But good to see you. James is here as well watching. Thanks, one of the members of the Time Out magazine is one of the ones. But thanks for that. And Den as well. Thanks for watching us as well. Even good. So so let's get into it, guys. The everything was there, it's almost like a Sunday dinner, they had Sky Sports, they had their studio ready, they had the referees all in place. Obviously, Simon Hooper, as you know, had a bit of a run-in with Arteta when we played Aston Villa a few years ago, and obviously Arteta taking the mick out of him. You had was it Gillette on the as a fourth official there as well. Obviously, he's a big Liverpool fan. In the studio, you had no Arsenal representation whatsoever, so everything was set, for for Man United to make the return to upwards after what they did last season, and it didn't happen. We basically peed all over their prawn sandwiches.
Parade. Yep.
And just as well, it's probably rat droppings in there as well. What's going on at Old Trafford, and we turned them over. And how many times have we seen Arsenal play Man United absolutely play them off the park, and then go make that trip home on the M6 with nothing to show for it.
Yep.
I'll start with you, Nick. Just your thoughts on just. We'll go into the lineup. I mean, obviously, we went through the lineup last show with Mac, and I think the only thing we kind of weren't sure about was the left back, and we went with Calafiori. But what was your thoughts on that, and just how that played into how the game sort of opened up?
So for me, I felt Calafiori was the safer choice, considering everything that you just said going into that match. How we're up against the refs, all the rest of it. MLS, I feel like that was protecting him potentially from inevitably picking up a card early. I think it's very easy for a referee to give a yellow card to a young player. I feel Calafiori at left back, I'm still great player, but I think he's a brilliant left-sided centre back who can play in a back three and a back four. I feel that sometimes at the left back he looks a little bit stiff against tricky wingers, particularly on the edge of the box, where he's trying to commit his body shape to defend. But I felt Harry moved forward and into the midfield probably impacted why we look so shaky at the back. Old Trafford is a wide pitch, and I felt like there was instruction needed because Ben White was also coming in, so we was losing that control. We was kind of moving around. Man United kept it wide. They knew Emery had briefed them. They kept both their wingers out wide there. And where they played a front three, they could double up in an area, and it was predominantly the left that they were targeting. And I felt that was kind of maybe needed a tweak by Arteta earlier, or instruction to kind of settle us down. That's kind of where I sit with. I don't know what you think on that.
I kind of agree. It's almost like even if we'd have played Miles there, it might have been the same scenario, because again, he isn't as swashbuckling as Calafiori is, but he does go inside and he does kind of vacate that position out there. So you probably would have seen the same thing happen. It's almost like you wish we had an old-fashioned left back out there, maybe a Scottish one.
Like a Kieran Tierney.
But yeah, I totally agree. What was your thoughts on that as well, Neil? Because it was a bit of a worry where we remember what Mbeumo did to us last season for Brentford. I think he scored, didn't he? And then we came back and won that game 3-1, I believe. I think they took the lead. But it was, I think it was Calafiori. He gave a run around in that game as well. But what was your thoughts on just how we started? Did you think we just looked a bit shaky, or was it expected with United to coming out opening day in front of their fans?
A bit of both for me. Obviously, United have spent heavy on their forwards, and I think they wanted to showcase that. So I think that we would expect a dynamic start from them no matter what. But I felt that we were very, there was no cohesion, and we were very disjointed for me, especially the first half. The defence and the midfield were from all over the 100%. Place. Certain players were missing. Saliba and Gabriel have built up a reputation of being probably the best centre-backs in the Prem, and they were far from it in that first half, as far as I'm concerned. I think playing both, Nick touched on it, playing both White and Calafiori, they're not, I suppose, our first choice when you got MLS and Timber waiting on the bench. I think that may have unsettled them a bit, but still, I don't think that's an excuse. They're all professionals. I rate White. I even rate Calafiori, albeit I think he should be exchanging places with Martinelli, and he should be playing left wing. And Martinelli, for all his defensive work, should be playing left back. And I'll stick with that, and I'll say it till the cows come home. I really do believe that, because I think he's very swashbuckling. He's a player that wants to get forward. He wants to be involved in goal action, and it was.
He could work well in the back five, couldn't he?
He certainly could. And I'm not averse to it. I mean, you think about, I mean, I don't want to touch on the goal yet, but just the lead up to the goal to the corner, who did that all? That was all Calafiori who actually created that corner. Him being up there, that very good tackle, and that's what Martinelli should be doing, not Calafiori, in my opinion. But I just felt that we were very disjointed. It just wasn't the Arsenal that we're used to. Some people put it down to lack of match fitness, but to be honest, they should be fit to start the season.
Yeah.
It's a huge game away to Old Trafford. I don't care how bad Man United are in any season. It's still Old Trafford. James always says, for him, it's the game of the Prem game of the season. We have to be ready. That's what pre-season is for. We have to be ready, and we looked well short of it. And I think, look, I'm not gonna poo-poo on them at all, because a win at Old Trafford is a win. I don't care. It's fantastic. It's 1,000 days since we lost to the Big Six apparently now.
Yeah,
and the fact that we got that win to start off, especially when all our rivals look pretty good. Man City look like they're back to their best. Liverpool look good with goals. It was so important to get these 3 points, because we've got a really difficult start up. The first 6 matches, we've got Liverpool away, we've got Newcastle away, we've got City at home. We had to get these 3 points. So the fact that we got the win is fantastic, but we have to improve our shape and our understanding of what each player is doing and play to their strengths, especially our new boy Geek, for us to progress.
So go ahead.
I was just going to say, guys, do you think they were human, and all of this pressure about the start of the season, that they were a little bit maybe gassed, nervous? Not they are playing United, but the importance of getting the season off and the occasion at Old Trafford. Because I don't think I'm scared of that team. But the occasion, did the occasion get to them? And that's what I'm kind of wondering a little bit with the team, because there was too many that didn't.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, it could be the fact that they, obviously Liverpool played, 2 days ago, didn't they? And then obviously City played, before the day before. So they're already, looking at it that we can't sort of make a mistake here, because it will be, 3 points behind. And but on top of that, it's the performance as well. I think we spoke just before we went on air, Nick, about the performances of the pre-season, and it's been sort of very disjointed, bar Max Dowman, really. Apart from him, and maybe Ethan looking a little bit lively as well. I think it's kind of been a bit not stale, but it's almost like there's a team trying to play a different way, and because obviously everything that happened with your careers, kind of put a delay on that. It would have been ideal if he was 2 weeks earlier. Maybe, who knows? Maybe if they'd done a deal 2 weeks earlier, there were obviously reasons behind that. But I think it's all sort of compounded into itself. Everything's got kind of a mishmash of it, and it resulted in what we saw yesterday in just terms of. But we'll go on individually now on certain individuals, and I think Calafiori, played really well, as you guys mentioned. Going forward is really good. Again, defensively, he does pick up yellow. It seems like he picks up a yellow card every time he plays, which is a worry, isn't it? Because as soon as he's done that, and we know the way he plays, it's just always a danger. You always thinking, well, he's not going to last 90 minutes. He's going to get dragged, after 60, 70. But I'm just trying to think. I don't know if you agree with me. I just think maybe the only players that sort of could come out with anything yesterday was maybe Odegaard, and obviously Calafiori. I think Gabriel in the second half, Rayo as well. But I think, and then maybe Zubimendi found his feet in the second half. But I think apart from that, I'm not sure. Maybe Ben White sort of kind of did well considering what he was up against as well. But struggling to kind of think of anybody else that kind of stood out. I think
when you mentioned what we said about Baka when we was waiting to come on, and I think that we all got the Arsenal fan reaction to this has all kind of been the worst bits of last season played out a little bit in this match. It was like a microcosm of what we've been experiencing as fans. And there's that concern, because there was 1 moment in the first half that kind of summed up my frustration with it. And we mentioned, and it was when Martin Odegaard was bursting forward with the ball, and it was like, pass the ball. He got tackled, and it was a dangerous counter-attack. But at that moment, we had Martinelli and Saka on both wings, or a little bit more set in central. It was almost like an inside forward, wasn't they?
Yeah.
And it was just like, make a run, guys. You know, peel off your defender a little bit. Do something, because in that moment it looked like Odegaard was awful and he could have released the ball. There is mitigating circumstances.
Yeah.
But they didn't do enough to warrant the part. You see where I'm coming from? I felt like it was just kind of like, come on, get away from your man. They were running alongside them, and it was just like, do something, drop short, drop way up, peel up behind him, do something to create something, use your movement. And I felt like they were both very naive in that moment of that attack. And I feel like that's what gets our back up. That was that kind of bit where it's like, uh-oh, this is all going to go, you know, and we spiral, don't we? And that was just, it was just one of those moments. And I was just thinking, who stood out? Zubimendi, I definitely grew into the game. I'm so excited about his signing. Seriously. You can just tell he uses class, can't you?
Yeah.
Did you think Rice looked a bit lost in the first half?
Yeah, he before he came off, it looked like he picked up a knock on. He was struggling for a couple of minutes before he came off.
Yeah.
But he just didn't look himself at all throughout the game. He was giving the ball away. He was very hesitant. I just think, again, I just hope he hasn't. Last season he started this way. He was very sort of sluggish, and he got that red card obviously against Brighton, didn't he? And then it kind of went from there. And it wasn't until the second half of the season where he sort of turned it around.
Kicked on, yeah.
But he didn't look himself at all. Saka, I mean, I'm amazed he played 90 minutes yesterday. He was really sort of, he was so off it yesterday. It's funny, the best chance came when he was on the left hand side. He put that crossover for Madueke, and if Fernandes didn't get in the way, he probably would have got an assist, you know, out of nothing. But what was your thoughts on that, Neil? On just the performance? Is it, like you said earlier, down to just? Is it you can't say poor preseason, but is it down to preseason? Maybe they're undercooked, maybe they overcooked a little bit. What was your thoughts on Odegaard's performance? He's getting a lot of, some places you look at it and then people are having a right go at him, like actually hammering him for some of the decision making. But what was your thoughts on just the general performance and just the feel of it? Just you know.
I think. For me, 3 players stood out: Odegaard, Raya, and Calafiori. I think any one of those 3 could have been man of the match. I think Odegaard, he ran his socks off. He really did run his socks off. Anything creative was coming from him. He was the one that was trying to go through the middle. You know, Nick just came out with a great example there. And he was back to almost being himself, being a bit of an orchestrator. You know, I've given him a bit of stick as well in the past. I'm always still, I don't know what it is. I think because he reminds me of my favourite Tony Adams. I always feel that Declan Rice should be captain. I just would prefer that. However, that's not a slight on Odegaard at all. I think Odegaard he's a class act, and he has been known or accused, and this isn't from me, not showing up in the bigger games. But I thought he was by far, you know, our best outfield player. And you know, he was I noticed right at the end of the match, you know, it'd been a hard slog, and he was right back there running his socks off all over the place. You know, I think this is what it is with Odegaard. He's not vocal as a captain, but he leads by example. He leads with his feet. And so I've got no complaints about him. I mean, he had a good shot. It was unfortunately he caught a little deflection, didn't it? And it went straight to the keeper. But he was involved in a couple of good moves from what I remember. So I think I can kind of say, no, you're right. You can walk away with your head held high. It's the Sakas, the Martinellis, Rice, a couple of other players, which I just found wanting completely.
Saliba was off yesterday as well. Saliba was.
Yeah. I think both Gabriel and Saliba were, but I think they got a little bit better in the second half, a bit like what you guys are saying about Zubimendi. By the way, Nick, I agree with you. I think for me, everyone's really excited about Geek. I think it's Zubimendi. I call him Scooby. It's Scooby that I'm really looking forward to. I think he could end up being probably the player of the season or signing of the season. Sorry, I meant to say. At least for us, anyway. I don't know about this. Some terrific signings across the Prem, but I think he's one to watch out for. But and Raya, you know, I think he made one mistake, didn't he? Early doors. Was it early doors? He made a mistake.
Yeah, he looked a bit shaky. It was the whole delay in the passing and trying to goad them on and putting himself under pressure.
Right. But for the mistake that the United keeper made, he showed how it's done. That it was almost like a mirror image situation, and he done it the right way, and it made the United keeper even look more of a buffoon, really. From and that's what annoyed me. They started looking at that. Oh, he's been fouled by Saliba, and credit to Saliba. Look, we said he wasn't at the races in the first half, but in the first few minutes, the way he positioned himself, the way a couple of the other players worked to stifle any kind of defence, to allow the space for Calafiori to put that ball in the net. Credit to Saliba as well for that. But Rare showed the other keeper, his opposite keeper, how to act, or how to position himself, how to be strong. And it's nothing to do with a foul. It's about strengthening your keeper. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Yep.
I think most keepers have gone on record in the media, saying that no, that's rubbish. It's nonsense. Yeah. He should have been stronger. Roy Keane was destroying him. So it was hilarious. That was comedy gold. I was just watching that, and I was just, I had to pause it, rewind it, and watch it again. It was hilarious. I loved that. Roy Keane, whatever people say about him, he speaks his mind, and I love him for that. So that was good. And then he came up with a couple of worldies, in my opinion. I mean, that one from, was it Cunha? He just got down low.
Oh,
right. But the way he can do that, I mean, remember the 2 or 3 double saves he made last season? He can be going the completely wrong way, and then suddenly, I don't know whether he's quadruple jointed or something, but he can move. He's like, he must be a contortionist. I bet that's his. He does a bit of moonlight, and he does a bit of that contortion. I can't pronounce it. You know what I mean?
Contortionist. Fantastic, isn't he?
Contortionist. Yeah, that's it. He probably goes on Britain's Got Talent and stuff, and all those does his contortionist acts. Right, I get it there. But the way he can just twist himself, and then even that punch. And the save as well from what's his name, the new guy. He done that save late on as well. But what I love about Raya, when he saves, he takes the ball out of harm's way.
Yeah,
he hardly ever will save the ball is going to fall to an attacker or the opposition. He always gets the ball out the way. Oh, fantastic! So for me, Raya, obviously Calafiori, I loved yesterday, and Odegaard were my 3 best players.
Yeah, it's it was kind of funny because our first away game last season was against Aston Villa, and it's almost like it was almost a identical kind of performance from the team because it wasn't that great. And we needed David Raya to be on it. He made some amazing saves that day as well. And obviously we needed Trossard to come in at the end to do his no celebration stuff when he was spitting his dummy out and stuff like that. But just going back to this, guys, lots of talk about the supposedly foul that Saliba's done him. I can see 2 other fouls there on there. In that situation. Can you see if are they Man United? Of course they are.
Mendy giving someone a piggyback, and Luke Shaw doing his thing, There
you go. Just a bit clearer for everybody. You don't hear no one saying anything about that because this new objective, this new rule. None of this stuff at corners anymore, or the referees will clamp down on it, and there you go. Interesting to see what would have happened if that ball had gone out of play,
absolutely,
or what have you, and you would have probably nothing. We know what would happen. Nothing would have happened. But yeah, so the other person we haven't really spoken about that much, who kind of didn't have a great day at the office, was obviously Victor Gyökeres. Lots of excitement about him, obviously, and hoping that he was going to go and dunk on his old manager, and we was all hoping for that. But he struggled. But what do you think about that, Nick? Because it seems to be the norm now for people to.
If you're not an instant success, that you're rubbish. My favorite player of all time at Arsenal. Now I say this because I love Tony Adams.
Yeah.
Ian Wright. Lived opposite him in Brockley for, love that man. Would kind of polish the dirt where he walks if he needed me to. Thierry Henry, I'll have his babies if he ever wants it. And but my greatest of all time is Dennis Bergkamp.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And Dennis didn't. I remember him going away to Hartlepool in the first leg of the Coca-Cola Cup and didn't score, and he got absolutely pillared for it.
Yeah,
absolutely pillared. Then we went away to Southampton and he scored those 2 fabulous goals. Do you remember? That might have even been in the September. And so he was, 7.5 million. What a waste of money.
Yeah.
Listen, Henry didn't get going till the second half of the season. It is just chill.
Yeah.
And how could anybody watching that midfield, because there was a moment. So you have a look at the defense, and we've all been saying how porous we looked at the back because it was a wide pitch and how we was being stretched. And then we was trying to fill the midfield with our fullbacks, right? But then there was moments when the ball was breaking down, particularly early on in the first half. And I was kind of like, where's our midfield? Where is our midfield? And they were too far back, right? How are you supposed to get service off of that? This is the big thing. If you want to evaluate Gyökeres, there is something that comes before that, and that is called service.
Yeah.
Now,
100%.
What did we do as a team that was different from last year with this new weapon up front? How do we get the ball to the box? How do we get the ball to Gyökeres? Gyökeres needs to be in and around the 6-yard box, and we need to be putting it on the plate for him or feeding it into him. When did that happen?
Yeah.
When did we build up in such a way? So this is the mitigating circumstance, because I bet he's really frustrated with that. Watching these balls, he's desperate to put it in the back of the net, right? Yeah. And he's watching all that. And you know what it's like when you're trying to impress your new teammates. You're trying to make a statement. And it's just like, you're nowhere near it. And it's like, I'm not reading the game. I'm not kind of, and he's under that pressure himself. The crowd are getting on your back, trying to jeer, all of that sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm. All of that.
But what were we doing with our wingers? And what was we doing with Rice and Zubimendi and Odegaard, trying to get him into that position? Say, no, get in the box. Yeah. We've got this. You think about the positions. If you ever, I haven't seen his heat map, but I'd be interested to see his first half heat map and where he was touching the ball.
Yeah.
Not in the areas we want him to. And so we've got to get better, particularly some of the things that Martinelli was good at last year was putting that ball into the box. But it wasn't always, there wasn't a number 9 that was there to finish it. And it was the same time. Amount of times last season, we was like, particularly when Kai was injured in the second half of the season, we was like, if we had a striker, that would have got finished.
Yeah.
If you're a winger and you get an assist, you feel like you've done something in the game. It gives you confidence. Do you know what I mean? It builds it, and it starts. Well, I got an assist last game. Okay, I'm on a roll here. Yeah. I just felt for Victor because he's just, that was an awful first game for him because we didn't help him.
Didn't help him at all. No, did not help him at all. And as Angie said, he struggled, but it wasn't his fault. We need to play to his strengths, absolutely. And also Dan as well says, he had no service. 2 were to feed him, all struggled to form. And as you were saying, in regards to his, sorry, let me take that off. Oh, he's got this. I've not seen a change in how we play as yet. Yeah, Gyökeres won't succeed with that football. Yeah, absolutely right. And just before I bring you in, Neil, what you mentioned about his heat map, but this is his touch map. I mean, this is ridiculous.
I didn't even know, guys. We didn't even coordinate that. Look at Mike coming with the stat.
Yeah, but this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous.
Yeah,
he had 3 touches. The touch over on the left hand side was the one where he's trod on the ball because you could see he was absolutely winding himself up. He weren't going to pass to nobody. He was going to have a hit because that's the first time since his last game at Coventry, which was the playoff final against Luton when they lost, and he scored the penalty in that game. It's the last time. That's the first time since then. So he's obviously played in Portugal for 2 seasons. He's not had a shot in a game.
It's terrible, isn't it?
And it happens first game of the season. Obviously, he scored last week, but we've got to play to his strengths.
Oh yeah,
it looks
Mike,
like
if we gave like 10 chances and he had missed a load, different conversation, isn't it?
Yeah. It looks like we're trying to do that, but I think James, he sent me a great stat which was on BBC, and it was regarding the speed of transitions. And we were over the weekend, and I think we were the second fastest team in the transition. So far, so we were faster than Liverpool, and faster than Man City. So you kind of wishing, well, bloody hell, if we kind of get this right, we're going to be pretty devastating. But what's your thoughts, Neil, on just how the Gyökeres? Is it going to be time? You just give him time because, again, as Nick said, I remember when Bergkamp hadn't scored a league goal, and I remember I can't remember what paper it was. This shows you how old I was, but I can't remember which newspaper it was, but it had a picture of a goal, an empty goal, and it had a picture of a ball, and it had an arrow with the ball saying, and it actually says, Dennis, this is where the ball goes. You know, you put the ball in here. And I think that's the day he scored the 2 goals against Southampton. And that's the sort of thing that they were doing even then. So, you know, the stuff with your careers online, socials is probably the modern day thing. But what's your thoughts on that, and just the way we use him to his strengths, you know, to get some goals?
I think there's not much more to add to what Nick said. He basically summed it up perfectly there. I think there's got to be a certain amount of adaptability on both sides. So on his end and our side, I don't think we should completely change the way we've been playing just for one player. And at the same time, he's got to have a bit of adaptability as well. And they've got to get that sorted out pretty soon, because as I said to you earlier, we've got some seriously big matches coming up. We can't afford to be letting him bed in. We haven't got the time to let him bed in. I think, I actually, do you remember I was saying I'd have actually preferred Kai to start the game yesterday and then let him come on as a sub. But actually for Leeds, I think I would want him to start because he needs the time at home. Yeah. I think at home it might be slightly different. We're going to, the atmosphere is going to be unreal, I think. Yeah. Especially following a win. See, that makes a big difference as well. Getting that win at Old Trafford, no matter how we played, it's gonna buoy everyone at home now, even that much more. Yeah. I think it would have been a very good atmosphere anyway, but I think it's going to be that much more now, you know, following that win there. And I think it's probably the best place for him to be to start that game. And hopefully, just with a couple of tweaks, it's got. See, what you said earlier, Nick. This is exactly what I was saying on the WhatsApp group. I was like, "Where's our midfield? There was no midfield yesterday. It was non-existent. So how can he get the service if there's no one there apart from Odegaard, who's trying his hardest, but he can't do everything. You know, Rice again. You know, and Zubimendi, who we think is going to be, for me, I think he's the one that's going to link up best with Gyökeres. I think you just watch the number of assists that Scooby gets for Geek. I think it's exactly that's it. That's exactly it. He just did the motion. That's exactly what's going to happen. And I think if that starts clicking, or when that starts clicking, we are going to be devastating. If you're telling me, Michael, that we're the second fastest in transitions, once we start using that to our strengths and to our advantage, I think we're going to be pretty tough to stop. And, you know, Saka can only get better. You know, Saka's world class. You know, he's had a bad game. He's not going to have a bad game every game for the rest of the season. He's world class. Rice is going to get better. All these players are going to start hitting form. And when they do, we're going to be some unit to beat. And I think that's where you're going to get the best out of Geek. So I'm not panicking. End of the day, we still got 3 points despite whatever he did. The only thing which was a little bit embarrassing, Sesko, however you pronounce it, he came on for about 5 minutes. He already had 4 touches in the box, so he already bettered, you know, and that was a little bit embarrassing. But you know, who cares? He didn't win, did he? He didn't get the 3 points. Gyökeres did. Yeah. So I mean, you know, let's be positive.
To play that badly, and if you compare, let's just be pragmatic. Old Trafford last year 1-1, 1 point. This year 1-0. We've kept a clean sheet. We've still scored 1 goal. We've got 3 points. Yeah. We're 2 points up on last year. I will take results over style I came through the George Graham era. I will take results over style.
You don't look that
single
old,
day of the week. I love you, Neil. You are awesome. Love you.
I honestly remember the George Graham era. I remember.
Mate,
what's the other guy? The first guy that got one of the 3 titles in the 30s. That's what I remember.
Chapman. You're a Chapman fan. Okay. But I'm pragmatic. There is that pragmatic bit that comes through me where I'm like, if you're comparing, and that's Arteta and the team, they go back in and they go, right, we've converted 1 point into 3 points. Old Trafford out of the way, we move. Next game, what is it?
Yeah.
And there is that as well, right? It's been a graveyard for us historically. And we're all, and Michael, you said it before we came on, bud. He was like, I can't, you know, we're up in arms about getting 3 points at Old Trafford.
Yeah.
How far we've come. How far we've come.
Look how far we've come. Yeah. You were used to get turned over quite frequently. As Neil said, was it 1,000 1,000 days, 22 games since we've lost to someone in the Big Six, and it's crazy that all it is we're kind of concerned about is the performance, actual performance. It's just that we didn't go down there and absolutely.
That's not a bad thing.
Roll them over 5-0.
Yeah, it's not a bad thing though, Michael, to be critical even when we've actually before, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, we were getting spanked 6-0, 7-0 by all the big teams.
Right.
Couldn't get a win to save our life. Couldn't even get a draw to save our lives.
No.
Yeah.
And now we're even when we win, we're like, oh yeah, but that wasn't great, was it really? Yeah. So it's good. I think in a way it's a good thing too. But yeah, we've got to be pragmatic. Absolutely, Nick.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy that every Premier League win that we've had there have all been 1-0 as well. I don't know. That's just some mad sort of.
I think. You know what it is though? We're just hungry to revenge that 8-2. Let's be honest, aren't we?
That's what it is.
We want to pull their pants down and absolutely pump them like 6-0, and then just walk off like, that one. You know, that's what we're desperate for. That's what we're desperate for.
You know why? Because we've seen Liverpool and City go down there and actually
absolutely
5 and 6s as well.
We always play the best version of every team. That Tottenham, United, City, they can be in the toilet. We turn up and it's like prime Barcelona has just come out of the dressing room every single time. Doesn't matter who we play.
No, you're spot on, man. It's lovely just to see the tears as well. You know, they were speaking with a lot of chest before the game. You know that was going to do this and all that, and their new forward line, and they looked a bit interesting. You know, Cunha and Mombrero looked quite lively.
Have a good season.
I think they're going to have a decent season. In fact, they've got nothing else to play for. They can play one game a week.
Absolutely,
I think they'll be fine. Obviously,
I think top 6 for them.
Yeah, I think for us, it's a case of, this is it now. Where Arteta, we'll talk about him now. And as Dennis has said, previously in the chat, he's not seen the change in the way we've played yet. There was kind of talks of it maybe a change in formation, a 4-2-3-1, which maybe would mean
I called
Odegaard a bit closer to the front. But we saw yesterday that he was picking the ball up from the centre backs again. We don't want him there, and that's why I think Rice, wasn't at the races. He definitely wasn't, as energetic as we usually see him, bouncing around. He's had his head down a lot yesterday. I don't know if you noticed that. Every time the camera cut to him, he had his head down, and he looked like he was peed off about something, or he was nursing something. He was nursing himself through the game. Maybe, I don't know, because Norgard wasn't there, was he? He wasn't on the bench. No. So
he would have started for me, or been subbed. Subbed. I would have the way Rice was. I would have brought on Norgard yesterday. Yeah,
and he obviously brought Marino on for him, who's a bit more, more
not as mobile though.
More mobile. Yeah.
I do like him though. I like him a lot.
He has that habit of getting a goal.
Yeah.
Do you know what I was expecting with Gyökeres? A bit more like, how he used to play with Giroud up front and people feeding off him?
Yeah.
Pumping that ball. Like, if you're going to do that, pump that ball up. And then how Ramsey, do you remember how Ramsey used to play off him?
Yeah.
And had that brilliant, where it was just, I was expecting a little bit more like that. And it's just kind of, because the way Zubimendi plays the ball forward, he's got such a good forward pass on him. And he was quite higher up the pitch than I expected. And I just thought there would be a little bit more trying to run beyond Gyökeres and bring him in, like cutbacks, that sort of stuff. And
I just think still they're still getting used to playing with him. It's all well and good doing it in training and everything like that. But when it's the opposition, like United, they would have been. They would have been drilled into, Amorim would have told them everything about him. They would have said, he's just got to be physical with him. He saw De Ligt, a couple of times he came off pretty bad. He got bounced out nearly out the stadium.
He got the strength.
And then obviously a couple of times the referee just let a lot go when, you got Gyökeres was the typical ref in an Arsenal game away up north, just let everything go. And, Zubimendi, getting an elbow in the face after a minute, play on, nothing wrong with that.
And then a side foot was nibbled, and it's like, oh yeah, let's give a free kick for that. Moments later, I was through in my house.
Yeah, and Arsenal getting more yellow cards again. In an away game up north. You see how many times that happens. How many fouls are on the end of, and how many times we end up getting more yellow cards than the actual aggressors. It happens all the time.
Look at Saka. How many times is Saka failed? And you have a look at that. How many times Saka is fouled and the opponent is booked versus how many bookings Saka picks up? Saka picks up so many bookings. One outweighs the other, yet he's more fouled than crazy.
We're always playing 12 man. Come on, just some.
Yeah. I know people go, "Oh, we're Arsenal fans," but it's true.
We're always playing 12. Have been for many
2 teams. So, what about Saturday night, gents? Neil, are you going? Are you going to that game?
I was going to, but I've something's come up, so I'll be going to the Forest game, my first time.
Okay.
Cool. Not going to that one. I'll just have to watch that on the telly. Do you want which is my thoughts on it?
You've already said you would stick with your careers up front.
I think so. I think because we need him to. Kai, look, for me, as soon as Kai came on, he looked all right. I don't have any problems with Kai at all. I think when he's needed, and if we need something different, and he can provide that, and he really does put everything into his performances as well. From what I can see, he works hard. He gets about. He gets in people's faces. He's a strong lad. He kind of reminds me of Giroud as well, Nick. He's a strong boy, and he can cause problems. Yeah, he's not the most prolific finisher in the world, but he can make a difference. So I'm not worried about Kai getting pitch time. I think Geek needs it, and so I would stick with him. And
change to the left.
Yeah, as I said, Calafiori left wing and Martinelli left back.
That'd be
everyone thinks I'm mad and joking. I'm telling you, Martinelli is a blooming good defender. By the way, Nick, when Martinelli came on board, I thought he was going to be the best striker in the world. I loved him. You ask anyone who knows me, I've always backed him. I've always wanted him to do well. I just haven't seen progression in him. I know he got injured. I think his best spell.
Lost confidence.
Yeah, I think his best spell was when he was partnered with Tierney, a traditional left back. And under Unai Emery, he was fantastic with Tierney. And then he got that injury, didn't he? And then it just never quite been the same. I would love him to. I'd love if I put criticism on any of our players, the first thing I want them to do is prove me wrong. Say, well, what do you know, you little git? You don't know nothing. Let me show you. I want that. But I just every season upon season, it's the same thing with Martinelli. He might do a couple of lovely pieces of work. He does work hard to get, when we're tracking back. I'll never, I'll always give him credit for that. But as a striker, as a potent forward, no, I don't see it anymore. And I think yesterday there was a moment where he had a chance to run through. And do you remember? And it just reminded me a little bit of that goal he scored against Chelsea and we equalised. Do you remember? And then he did that kind of celebration. And he just lost pace. And I thought, mate, if you've lost pace as well, what have you got left? And I don't know. So, all right, look, all joking aside, I mean, I know that's not going to happen, but that's my heart saying it. But I think, to be honest, I think the team is okay as it is. My only concern is I would want to see Ethan come on if Saka is not doing it again. Yes. He's got to start playing Ethan because Ethan looked lively in the preseason. I think one of you mentioned it. Yeah. And I think he needs to come on. And I think at the back, I think I would, if not change both White and the combination of White and Calafiori, at least change one of them because I think they looked more settled when Timber and MLS were on the pitch. Yeah. MLS has got to take out that side of the game where he's susceptible to getting a yellow card. He's got to get that part of the game. He's got to move. Yeah. He's got to. But apart from that, I don't think there's many more other tweaks that I would make. I would leave it as it is. Give the guys another go. See how it goes. But then look, we've got a strong bench if changes need to be made. But Arteta, make the blooming changes. Don't sit there waiting on it.
You did ask Mike about Arteta, and I didn't feel we answered. And I think that's a valid point.
Yeah, this is what I was going to sort of come in to you and say: is this where the trusting of his squad comes into play? This is a game where you're playing at home. You're playing against obviously the champions of the they won the championship, didn't they? 100 points, but it is Leeds at home, first home game of the season. Do you trust yourself enough to make a couple of changes? Do you trust yourself enough to maybe, like Neil said, bring in Timber, which isn't going to reduce the quality of that side? Or are you going to, are you trust what, do you trust the MLS enough to come in? Because I imagine we're going to get a lot of the ball. Do you trust Madueke to come in on the left and to put them on the back foot right from the very off?
Yeah.
Do you do that? Do you even think of maybe playing someone like Marino instead of Rice, just to give it, to freshen it up there? So this is what it's all about. It's and I think we've spoken in the chats and everything, and we've spoken as well, Neil. This is the Achilles heel for Arteta. It's been like that ever since he's been there. It's just his management of a squad, and there's always been the argument that it's either injuries or the quality isn't there. Well, Jesus is the only one that's really out injured, as far as we know, long term, and the quality is definitely there. So, is this where he starts to do that, or do you expect us to see same as?
Is this to me?
Yeah, for you. Sorry.
I think it's important that he does start to make these sort of changes to communicate to the squad and show to the squad and these other pros that rotation happens, that he's going to do that. You've got players there that are too good. Like White is too good to sit on the bench long term. Kivior is too good to sit on the bench long term. Miles is too good to sit on the bench long term. All of these players that we are blessed with, the only way you get the best out of them is by turning around and saying, I'm going to bring you on, I'm going to rotate, I'm going to trust. That didn't work because it shows the competition is real and not that I'm just going to play it safe and stick to my favourites. This season will come down to how Arteta manages the squad.
100%.
How he rotates, how he motivates, how he keeps these players that aren't playing regularly engaged and ready to have their input. You think about the Wenger years, and he would bring in Alex Mangana for David Seaman or whatever it was, but they were always ready. Kanu, look at Kanu now, right?
Yeah.
Beautiful player. Yet he sat on our bench waiting for his time to come on.
Wiltord.
A player like that, Wiltord.
Yeah.
Right? And so that's what he's got to do. He's got to get these guys ready to deliver. We can't have that we bring on a Trossard if he stays. And so, for instance, like we have done last season, and it feels like there's a bit of a sulk there, and it's kind of like a 6 out of 10 performance. And you're like, did that really make an impact in the game?
Yeah.
And I think that's what we've got to be looking for. Players step in and make an impact.
Yeah.
Don't worry, if Rice isn't great, then Marino comes in. He's like, I've got this, or whoever we're going to play in that position. And that's what we've got to have. Whoever comes in makes an impact, because it's like if Timber comes in, he's going to lay down a marker to White and say, I want this spot.
Yeah.
If MLS comes in at left back, he's going to say to Calafiori, hey, I've got this, and that's what we need, because that's how the squad moves forward.
Yeah, absolutely. In competition. Absolutely. Yeah. And as Neil said, it's you want to see people, you want to see Ethan get time as well. Obviously, he didn't, get on the pitch yesterday. Obviously, Max wasn't in the squad, but he was there. So again, he's an option. What do we do with him? Because obviously you can play him in the league. You can't play him in the Champions League yet because he's not 16. So, but you can play him. You can play, and then he's the sort of he then becomes. Does he then become a replacement for Saka if he comes out of the game? And then that means Madueke really is that left winger that people have kind of said, well, that's where he's going to sort of cover anyway. He's going to take Martinelli's place because that's the quickest way to get into the team. It's interesting. I can see him maybe starting Madueke against Leeds, because I just think he wants to put it on them, really have them on the back foot and have someone that can actually beat people, in tight spaces, can beat people one-on-one. Whereas Martinelli, we know he needs a lot of space, and when he hasn't got it, he just basically becomes a defender, doesn't he? He becomes a
two changes I would make. I agree with you. Put Madueke on the left wing. So he's determined, needs to prove himself. I think Martinelli's performance justifies the change. And then it's like, right, we're going to go. And the other one that I would do, if Rice isn't quite right, let's put Miles in the left 8.
Yeah.
He will cook. you will cook. That ability to get forward with the ball that he's been doing from left back, where he hasn't got that direct defensive commitment. I honestly think the guy he's a midfielder.
Yeah,
so let Calafiori play left back, or Timber. Timber can play there.
Yeah, Timber can play there. He played there pre-season, didn't he? He
can play there
against Athletic Bilbao. Dan Thanks says this season the massive test of Arteta's game management. A good squad. He has no excuse to rotate better. Yeah, absolutely. And that should also help with injuries or not overplaying. Because I think I've said to you, Neil, and maybe in the other group as well, Nick, the whole thing of this of the elite teams now is get into March, April, May, the running, the whatever you want to call it the running or the championship rounds of the season. It's like when you're a boxer, you're in the championship rounds. Now this is where all the work you've done is no good, if you can't do it in right at the end, or you get knocked out. And it's all about getting as many as your top guys fit in that running, because that's what's happening. If you look at all the teams that look at PSG, look at their team. They had all their top boys out. You know what I mean? He's as Dan said, he's absolutely spot on. He has to. This is it. This is all on Arteta. If he drops the ball here, and not only on the playing style as such, I just think the actual squad manager is even more important. Yeah, because it kind of shows that he's experiencing that. If you've got a more experienced manager in there who's been around the block a bit, knows how to keep people happy and engaged, as you said, Nick. Because you look at people like Zinchenko coming out with what he's done. We've seen Trossard look a bit sulky as well. It's almost like he ices people. He totally disregards them and only brings them back in when there's multiple injuries, and then the trust isn't there. Look at Fabio Vieira. The photo going around of him in training. He's standing 5 yards away from everyone else in a team photo, looking like he just wants to kill himself. Do you know what I mean? It's
communication, isn't it? It's man management.
Yeah.
And this is where he's got to show that he's evolved. That Arteta doesn't become the limitation to the squad. When he started, the squad was the limitation to progress. Now we've invested and we've got a blasted good squad. You look at what he inherited compared to what we've got now.
Yeah.
And now it's got to be that he's not the limit. And that's what he's got to prove this season.
I'm sorry to say, he's got no excuse. He's got no excuse because you said just a second ago, Michael, that we should be an elite team. We've got no reason not to be an elite team. And the elite teams go far in all the competitions. Yeah. So there's going to be plenty of opportunities for each of these players to get a chance. And I think someone put it in the comments, it also helps with injuries, that rotation. It keeps the players fresh. It keeps on their toes. But more importantly, as you guys have said, it builds a trust between the manager and the players. And if he's saying to them, for me, what makes it a championship winning unit is everyone chipping in, every single person in that club chipping in. So the players, the management, the backroom staff, the coaches, the whole lot, everything has to work. Everything has to click. So if you've got players that are being treated in a way that, we'll only bring you on when there's an injury, or I'll overlook you today, or you're on the bench. It's like when he took those 3 kids to that stupid rubber game against, was it who was it against when we were was it the Europa Cup?
PSV.
Yeah, PSV. Yeah. We took those three youngsters. He could have played them. He didn't even give them a second.
Absolutely. Nathan Butler-Adoje.
Right. Right. So it's moments like that. I know that might be a silly analogy, but it's moments like that where that can destroy especially someone very young and almost like, impressionable. And your manager is actually put you on the plane. They're thinking, oh my God, we're going to get a game. We're going to be playing in this European competition. And they're just sitting there. We don't even have to win the game. Even if we lost the game, we would have still finished top. Yeah. But no, hang on a minute. I'm not even getting to feel one blade of grass under my feet.
Yeah,
it's that where he's got to change that mentality. And if he doesn't, it was said in the comments earlier, he said there's no excuse because he's got the squad. This is now his squad as well. It's not another manager's squad. This is his squad. It's his squad. He's got the players and he's got the competitions. And I'm sorry, I've said this before. I'm not a trophy hunter, but we have to win one of the big 2 this season. We have to. We're going to start losing big players. They're going to be thinking, hang on a minute, I love this club, but do I really want to be here? Because my career is going year by year. and I know that I could go somewhere else and have a better chance. So the manager has got to be smart. He's got to be cute, and he's got to rotate. Even if a player has done really well, another player on the wings who could be challenging him has to get a shot, even if it's for a cameo 20 minutes as a substitute. He has to have that, because who knows, he might put on a performance which will then let him play in the Champions League in the next few days.
Yeah.
We won't know that. We won't know that if they're not playing. Ethan, for example, don't play him. No, we don't know. So what you've got to. He should have played. Why didn't he come on for 10 minutes yesterday or 15 minutes? There was no excuse.
Yeah, I think you're spot on, and you can't. This is what I was saying against Leeds or whatever. That's no disrespect to Leeds, but you're looking at maybe a couple of changes, just at least 2 changes, maybe just to keep people ticking over. But some people will say, well, why change it? You won. Obviously. After that, you're looking ahead. You've got Anfield, haven't you? You've got Liverpool, and I think you want the likes of Timber to be back for that. You want probably Miles back for that as well, maybe. I know Calafiori is so great going forward, but on that, we know who's on that side. On that left-hand side, if he goes wandering and someone pings the ball over into that space, we know who he's going to drop to, and we know what he can do. So it's going to be interesting. But like I said, I just think now this is the point. Let's see what he does on Saturday. Let's see if he he rolls the dice a little bit.
Without disrespecting Leeds, because Leeds are a massive team that historically are a massive team. Let's face it, and they're on their way back, but they're still finding their feet in the Premier League, right?
Yeah.
This is when we get ourselves ready for Liverpool and get some feel good in certain relationships in the squad. That's what I'm looking for Arteta to do. So whether that is Zubimendi and Gyökeres clicking, or Saka finding his feet, or if you're going with Martinelli for the Liverpool game, you've got whatever you're going to do for the Leeds game has to feed the Liverpool game. You're looking to kickstart a few things. You're kind of trying to make a few sparks to build the fire, right? And so that's what he's got to use the Leeds game for. He's got to get some of these bits clicking so that we are going to Anfield feeling like we can get something done.
Yeah, 100%. And speaking of Leeds, they are winning 1-0 against Everton. They've just taken the lead a couple of minutes ago. So again, absolutely no disrespect to Leeds. They're going to obviously bring a big following, and they're going to, maybe try and enjoy themselves a little bit and try and interesting to see what they do and how they approach the game. But no, thanks guys. It's been a brilliant chat. Really, really enjoyed it, Nick. Really, really loved your insight as usual. Great stuff on your debut. Great performance, and Neil as well. Yeah, great stuff from you as well. Great impassioned stuff about Arteta at the end there as well.
4-0 Leeds, by the way. 4-0.
Well, there you go. Yeah, Neil with his big score lines. It's not Arsenal anymore. In charge. It's not. We're not Arsenal football.
4-0, man. Come on.
Yeah. Okay.
2 for Geek, Calafiori, and Timber. That's my 3 goal scorers. Nick, it's a pleasure meeting you.
Oh, lovely talking to you.
What an amazing debut, eh?
Yeah, great stuff, Nick. I hope you enjoyed it. Hopefully you like to come back, man, in future.
Oh, absolutely. And, anytime you invite me, I'll be there, buddy.
Be part of the team, yeah. Thank you. We'll sort out the contract and everything. It'll be a bit quicker than the Gyökeres saga. We'll get the contract out for you. In a couple of seconds. And we'll go from there. But I really appreciate that. Thanks for everyone watching. Thanks, Angie. Thanks, really appreciate you for that, and also to Den as well and everyone else watching. We will hopefully be back maybe for a quick recap after the Leeds game. I know it's a late kickoff, but we'll hopefully try and have a little bit of a recap just on what's happened. Hopefully, talking about another good win. And because I'm going to be driving to Manchester, a week late, driving to Manchester just to stay over with some good friends who are City fans, City season ticket holders. So it'd be good to have an interesting chat with them to see how things are. We normally don't talk to each other after the second night we stay over, but no, they're really good people, and we're going to be staying over there. So I want to try and get something out. Even if it's a short one after the Leeds game, and then of course the big build up to the trip to the Champions after, and nice early test, another one. It's crazy, isn't it? Then we've got our three away games. Newcastle, Liverpool, Man
United. But they'll be out the way. They'll be, and if we get some,
true, but it's mental. It's absolutely insane. Everything has been so set up. Just to get us, on the skids. Right,
and they will fail, because we're winning the league. All right, there you go.
Yeah, fingers crossed. No, thanks very much, guys. Really appreciate it. Thanks, Nick. Thanks, Neil. Great stuff. We'll be back hopefully on Saturday. And all the United fans, dry your eyes. It's only game one. You've got another 37 to go. All right.
Absolutely.
All the best, guys. Up the Arsenal.
Up the Arsenal.
Newcastle, the central figure again, and he looks to trick Michael.
I was a bit worried that I was talking too much. If I do, we need